Bronte, it's interesting you use the term perception as reality. It is my favourite saying. I think there's a lot in it that people don't consider. They look at their own circumstances. That classic was, well, what are you getting upset for? I was only joking. That sort of logic. But the perception that it leaves on the person is the reality of what we're dealing with. So for me to put the devil's advocate hat on and say, well, those two people, maybe if they had have asked, everything would be all right. So the fact that they have that perception that they're not going to be accepted, that is the reality that they're living with, and it's understandable based on the history in many countries. But let's look at the one we're living in. As I said, it wasn't all that long ago that the environment wasn't comfortable for, and your own life story is a perfect example.
And that they haven't just plucked that perception out of thin air. That's been evolving probably ever since they moved to that country town. And it's not just that one country town. There's parts of metropolitan Melbourne and other Australian cities where the same perceptions are there and are valid. So they would have noticed the sneers or the sideway glances or just the assumptions that people make when, for example, two women live together and could be housemates platonically, or they could be a couple. But it's no one else's business. But the perception, the feeling that they have is very real.
There'd be cases, I would imagine, where someone could be in a queue at the supermarket, or they could be just standing in a hotel and hearing an off conversation with someone else, and the content of that conversation could be making them particularly uncomfortable. That all of a sudden, you walk into an establishment with your partner, your friend, your life partner, your lover, and someone draws a rather offensive and says it loud enough that even that sort of thing, I imagine, would happen often. And if you're in a new environment around new people, to hear that would make things very uncomfortable.
Oh, some years ago, my now husband and I booked in just for a weekend in a hotel, a major hotel in the city, and were asked if we'd like a room with separate beds. And it was just like, wow. We thought that such establishments would have at least some inclusion training, but it was found pretty wanting, and we were just flummoxed by that. It took our breaths away, literally.